Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can spoof in Pokemon Go, and we're going to be doing this on an iPhone and an Android phone. To spoof on an iPhone, we're going to install iPogo, and to do this we have to follow a few pretty complicated steps, but it's not that hard. Just follow along and you'll be fine. So to install iPogo on an iPhone, we're first going to need to download the actual app. We can just download it directly from the iPogo website, and we'll save it to a folder on our computer. You're also going to need iTunes installed on your computer. So we're just going to download the iTunes installer as well as this program called Sideloady. So we'll download the installer for Sideloady as well. We're just going to run the iTunes setup and make sure that iTunes is installed on our system. We don't actually have to open or use iTunes. It just contains some files that makes it easier for the computer to recognize our iPhone. Next, we're going to run the Sideloady installer. And now that it's done, we can run Sideloady and click finish. And it's going to open a little window that looks like this. On this little icon that says IPA, we're going to click on it, and we're going to go to our folder that has the app file, and we're going to click open. Next, we're going to plug in our iPhone with USB and connect it to our computer. And Sideloady should recognize the iPhone and give it to us as an option from this drop-down list. If you're running an iPhone that has iOS 16 or higher, you'll have to go into the settings, scroll down to privacy and security, scroll all the way down and go to developer mode and turn it on. And it's going to prompt you to restart your phone. Once it's restarted, then Sideloady will recognize it. With our iPhone selected and the app loaded up in Sideloady, we're going to enter our Apple ID that we use on that iPhone. We'll click start, and it's going to ask us for the password for the Apple ID. Then it's going to sign in and start uploading this app to your iPhone. You'll see it's going to say signing, and this just takes a few minutes. And here, when it says done, we can go look on our phone. And you can see here, we now have the Pokemon Go app installed on this phone. We can go ahead and open it. We'll get this pop-up that says that this app is from an untrusted developer, and we have to go into our settings to trust it. So we go into our settings, and we go to General, VPN, and Device Management. And we can see here it says developer app, not trusted. So we press that. We can see here it says Pokemon Go, and then an option to trust the developer, which is just our own Apple ID. We press it, we press trust, and now we can go launch the game. And now we have a hacked version of Pokemon Go. We're logged into the game. And when you press this little button at the top, it gives you a whole menu of cheats that you can do. And we'll go into settings, and we'll scroll down, and we'll pick joystick dynamic, and we'll press done. And this puts a joystick on our screen that we can now press up, and you can see our player is now walking in the direction that we're holding the joystick. We can go and change the speed to something a little faster. We can also go ahead and look at the map, and this will show us everything that's around us. And anywhere we want, we can just long press anywhere on the map, and it'll give us all these different options. If we want, we can auto walk to that location, or we can just teleport straight there. One really useful trick with using this app is we can go into our settings, go into feeds Pokemon, and we can search for any Pokemon that we want. And if they're in the game right now and they're spawning, this will show us where they are in the world. And we can teleport to where that Pokemon is. And that's a really easy way to just catch whatever Pokemon you want. There's all kinds of other cheats that you can use in this. Another really useful cheat you can do is the enhanced throw cheat. And this lets you set how good of a throw you have every time you throw. So you can have good, excellent, curveball. You can also set it to follow a random route, and it's just going to start walking for you automatically. This is really good for hatching, or if you have a Pokemon Go Plus or Gacha then it will spin stops and catch Pokemon for you. There's also a premium feature that creates a virtual Pokemon Go Plus that tricks your phone into thinking that one is connected, so you don't even have to buy a Pokemon Go Plus. Now, doing this on an Android phone is way easier. All you have to do is go to the website and download the APK file and install it. So on your phone, you're going to go to the iPogo website, click on this drop-down box, click installation, and select Android Stock APK. Now, before you install it, you have to delete the legit Pokemon Go app. Make sure it's deleted off your phone, and then go ahead and install this cheated APK of Pokemon Go. And now we have the modded APK of Pokemon Go on our Android phone. We'll just launch it. And now you can see on our screen, we have a similar menu like we do in the iPhone version. We can click on the settings gear and we can see we have a very similar list of cheats that we can use for Pokemon Go. If you look closely, you'll see that the Android version and the iPhone version don't have all the same settings and all the same cheats. One of the most obvious things missing here is the joystick, but it does have an option for tap to walk. So when we press somewhere on the screen, our guy will walk in that direction. And finally, I'm going to show you one of the safest and easiest ways that you can spoof your location. And that's by using one of these GPS spoofing programs on your computer. And this method requires that you connect your phone to your computer with USB and externally change the GPS location. One of the most popular ones is iAnyGo, and it has a free trial. We're just going to go ahead and download it and we'll install it. Once it's installed, we'll select one of these options. It doesn't matter, just pick one. I'm going to pick joystick movement and we'll click enter. And now we'll get this prompt to connect our phone to our computer. And we'll just go ahead and plug in our phone. You can do this with iPhone or Android. I'm going to recognize the phone, click next. And this will give you a joystick that you can set the speed that you're going as well as the direction. Now, this program and others like it, they operate under a trial. So you'll only get to use it for a limited time until you actually have to end up paying for it. But this is really the safest method for spoofing in Pokemon Go. And that brings us to the topic of getting banned. Now, you've probably heard me say a few times in this video already that something is considered safe. So why are we talking about being safe? When we're cheating in Pokemon Go, we talk about being safe because this is something that you can get banned for. Now, there are several types of bans in Pokemon Go. You can get a soft ban, which just prevents you from spinning Pokestops or catching Pokemon. Or you can get a warning on your screen that looks like a red banner that tells you to stop cheating. You can get a temporary suspension that lasts anywhere between 5 to 10 days, and that's usually considered a first strike. You can also get a 30-day ban, which is considered a second strike, and you can get a permanent ban, which is like your third strike. There's no guarantee of you getting a first or second strike. You can go straight to permanent ban right away on your first offense. So if you're playing on an account that you care about, don't cheat, because there's a really good chance you will get banned. And there are a lot of people who cheat in Pokemon Go every day and they never get banned. And this is because they play safe. But before we talk about playing safe, the developers can tell if you are connecting to the game with a modded version of the app. And they could suspend you purely based on that, even if you are playing safe. So let's talk about what it means to be safe. With Pokemon Go spoofing, there is really only one rule to follow, and that's respect cooldowns. And I'll tell you what that means. Anytime you perform an action in the game, you are locking your account to that exact GPS position in the world. And the next time you perform an action, the game will calculate how far away you were from that first action to the second action, and it will be able to tell how much distance you traveled between that time. So if you teleport to New York and catch a Pokemon, your account is locked to New York. And then if you teleport to Australia and catch another Pokemon, it's going to calculate the distance between those 2 points. And if the game does a calculation that decides that you've cheated to get from point A to point B, then you will get banned. So when you perform an action, you start a cooldown. And this means if you want to cheat again, you're going to have to wait until that cooldown expires before you can do another action. So how long do you have to wait before you can cheat again? So this really depends on how far away you want to go between cheating actions. Realistically, if you're just going to be teleporting around one area, then you should be fine, because it would make sense that you can travel within that area in that amount of time. But if you're going to teleport somewhere that's like 10 kilometers away from you, then you need to account for the time it would take to get there, which would be about 5 or 6 minutes. So if you're going to teleport 10 kilometers away, you should wait 5 to 10 minutes before you do that. If you're going to teleport somewhere that's about 100 kilometers away, then you should wait about half an hour. So here are the actions that will trigger a cooldown. If you encounter a Pokemon and you drop a Pokeball, that triggers a cooldown. If you catch a Pokemon, that triggers a cooldown. Spinning a Pokestop triggers a cooldown. Feeding a berry to a wild Pokemon triggers a cooldown. Battling a gym will trigger a cooldown. Adding one of your own Pokemon to defend a gym will trigger a cooldown. Healing a Pokemon that's defending a gym will also trigger a cooldown. And if a Pokemon flees, that triggers a cooldown. Now let's go over the list of things that don't trigger a cooldown. These are actions you can do without worrying ever. If you just want to encounter a Pokemon to check it, that does not trigger a cooldown. This is a really good way to check for shinies. You'll be happy to learn that just teleporting anywhere around the world over and over and over, that's not gonna trigger a cooldown. You can travel as much as you want, go to anywhere you want in the world. That is allowed. If one of your eggs hatches, that is not going to trigger a cooldown. Any rewards that you claim is not going to trigger a cooldown. Giving gifts to your friends, evolving a Pokemon, transferring a Pokemon, trading your Pokemon, changing your buddy, using an incense or a lucky egg will not trigger a cooldown. Doing a PvP battle with another player is okay. And placing a lure on a Pokestop does not trigger a cooldown. So if you do perform an action that does trigger a cooldown, like catching a Pokemon, you're going to be stuck in that area before you can teleport away and continue doing actions. The amount of time you have to wait depends on how far away you want to teleport before you start doing more actions. The maximum time that you have to worry about is 2 hours. If you don't want to do the calculations between cheating, then just wait 2 hours before you teleport and start doing actions again. If you don't want to wait the full 2 hours, then you need to understand how far you can travel based on how much time has passed. And here's a really easy to follow guide for these times and distances. If you're going to be teleporting 10 kilometers away, you should wait about 5 to 6 minutes. If you're teleporting 100 kilometers away, you should wait at least half an hour. If you're going to teleport 500 kilometers away, you should at least wait 1 hour. And if you're going to teleport 1,000 kilometers away, you should wait about an hour and a half. But when I do this on my main account, I always wait the full 2 hours at least. And this is where a lot of people get banned. A lot of people will either get the calculation wrong or just ignore the cooldowns altogether. Or they might not understand what is actually triggering the cooldowns and what's resetting the cooldowns. And if at this point you don't understand cooldowns or this is a little confusing to you, then just don't do it, or at least not on an account that you care about, because there's a good chance you're going to get banned. Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you. Remember to press the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in another video.